Our sponsor today is RFID and NFC Blocking Card. In a world of rising digital theft, your wallet might already be under attack, and you wouldn't even know it. Protect yourself from e-pickpocketing with the SciTech ITR FID Blocking Card. One ultra-thin card, no battery needed, creates a jamming signal that blocks hackers from stealing your credit card or ID information. Just slip it into your wallet and you're covered. Test it yourself at any self-checkout. You'll see it works. It's compact, affordable, and gives you real peace of mind. Don't wait to become a victim. Grab your 5-pack today on Amazon for under $10. Protect your info, secure your wallet. You deserve that kind of peace. Scan the QR code and order yours now.
Bishop T.D. Jakes once said, "There's a moment when the thought crosses your mind. Maybe I should just quit." The truth is, we've all been there. That moment when giving up feels easier than pressing forward. And more often than not, lurking behind that urge is fear, whispering doubts, pointing out your flaws, and asking, what if you're not enough? But tonight, we're flipping the script. We're confronting the fear that's been steering the wheel for too long. So buckle up, because we're committed to the journey, and we're honored you've chosen to ride it with us. Welcome to world premiere Word on the Streets. Let's talk about fear.
It's an urge. Truth be told, every champion has felt it. Every president has felt it. Every king has felt it. Every lion has felt it. Every winner has felt it. Every soldier has felt it. Every victorious person has felt it. The urge to quit.
Greetings, and welcome to the world premiere Word on the Streets. We're live every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't miss out. After a week full of noise, confusion, and constant distractions, this is the show that cuts through the clutter. It's the hour of the week where real talk meets real truth. We bring conversations that challenge the status quo and stir something deeper in the soul. This isn't just commentary, it's clarity, purpose, and elevation. When you tune in, you're not just watching, you're waking up. A place where common sense still matters and lives. So ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, this is the world premiere Word on the Streets. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your hearts and hands together for the man who discovered his purpose and lives it loud, Larry Extraordinaire Moton, and the motivator born to ignite minds and shift atmospheres, the amazing Keith Fletcher, and the man who brings clarity to the chaos with the voice of reason you can't ignore, the one and only Mr. Vincent Craig. Make no mistake, there is no word without our host. Welcome to the movement, welcome to the message, welcome to the world premiere, Word on the Street.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome back to the world premiere Word on the Street. I am extraordinaire. But you all know, friends, there can never, ever be a world premiere Word on the Street without the one and only, the motivator. And friends, the reason why we call him the motivator, you'll see in action. This man been to Chicago, haven't even made it to his home in Dallas. And here he is, the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Keith Fletcher, driving on his way home. And the man, ladies and gentlemen, the man with the golden voice, the man, the more I hear him, the more I listen to him, the more I realize, damn, man, We got a lot in common. I got to learn more from this guy. And his voice is silky smooth, so it's pleasant to the ear. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Vincent Craig.
Good morning.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are world premiere word on the street. Keith Fletcher. Keith Fletcher, come on in, man. Talk to us, bro.
What's going on, Stronad? What's going on, Vince? What's going on, community? How y'all doing?
I'm good. How you doing, man? Good to have everybody here. Good to be here tonight.
Yes, it is. It's a great time to be here, man. Just getting back, visiting my mom in Chicago. Just got off the plane. You know, the show must go on. I told Stronad, hey, man, we doing the show. So, hey, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Where are you right now, brother?
I'm driving in the car.
In
Yeah,
the
just
car.
left the airport. Yeah.
So you haven't even made it home yet. Am I correct?
Oh no, I just got out the airport. My wife just picked me up. Yeah, she just picked me up. We talking about fear today, man. I flew down there by myself. I went down there by myself. So, but we'll get into it. Yeah, I went down there by myself, flew by myself. You know, since I lost my sight for the first time. But we'll get into it. But I made it back home.
Wow, man, that is an excellent place to start right there. You just flipped the script on me right there because I had another direction, but the mere fact you flew there by yourself, that had to have been a lot of trepidation. So why don't we just start there? And Vincent, I know my brother Vincent got a whole repertoire of stuff he's gonna add to wherever we go with this conversation. But for a lot of people who don't understand, who fly here, there, and everywhere, we're talking about a man who we all know, and if you don't know, friends, he's legally blind. And he just flew from Dallas to Chicago, Illinois, solo for his first time. So I only can imagine, man. Why don't you tell us about that experience?
Well, the first thing, man, I said I was gonna go. I wasn't going to Chicago. I never wanted to go to Chicago, but I had to go. Me and my brother wanted to meet up, but my brother scheduled the flights. He was coming from Seattle. I'm coming from Dallas. Uh, like I said, they got to assist the people that assist you, but my wife brought me up, and they assist me, dropped me to the seat. But I ain't gonna lie, I had anxiety. You know what I'm saying? I'm anxiety. I'm sitting there by myself, thinking about how this gonna work, how this gonna what I'm saying, work. And they're gonna leave me here because the guy dropped me off and left me. So I'm sitting in the chair by myself. Usually I can get around, but I didn't. When I'm somewhere I don't know, people I don't know, what I'm saying, it started come overwhelming me. But the most I always step in, man. One of my partners from home called me, and we started talking about a video, man. We started laughing, had me laughing and stuff, and that calmed me down, man. So, but it went well, man. It went well. They took me right when I got to the gate. They walked me up. Somebody took me to my seat. Made me both times, got me to my seat. When I was coming out the port, off the plane, they was waiting there with my name. They got me in the seat, took me where I need to go, met my brother. So the experience was great, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I had all the anxiety wrapped up into me the weeks before, like how this is gonna work, and everything worked out perfect, man. It worked out perfect to my wife and my brother, man, and the airline United. They did well by me, man. But if I'm not gonna lie, I was all tightened up. I was tightened up, man, about the whole situation.
Hey, Vincent, before you say anything, man, I just want to say this to the community. I just want you all to know how much we value you. In our last show, Vincent said that somebody in the community asked that we talk about fear. Now, Vincent, do you remember who that person was?
I do. He's on tonight. That was Mark Bergman, a good friend of mine. Uh, Mentioned it, and it was like I had mentioned to him and told him that we had already not directly spoken about fear, but a lot of the conversations that we had in the past have intertwined and touched on fear. It just wasn't a main fact or a main focal point. So
Now,
yeah, Mark is on the chat with us, and he's here in the audience tonight as well.
right. And the reason why I mention that because we want you all to know, friends, that your voice matters. If you want a platform where your voice matter, where you matter, you're at the right place. World premiere, word on the streets. So, friends, before we go any further, Fletcher and Vincent and I, we want to just give y'all some love right back at you. Now we're gonna resume with our show. So Vincent, why don't you talk to us about this thing about fear, man? Because it's something that we all have dealt with at one time or another in our life, and unfortunately, it probably would not be the last. Go it on, my brother.
It's funny that I don't want to say it's funny, but it's ironic that Keith is coming from a flight, and that was going to be one of my touching points tonight. Was it took me till I was about 35 years old to get on my first flight because I was fearful of what may happen on crash or something going wrong. Right. Keep in mind, my sister used to back when she was modeling and it moved to New York, and she was a flight attendant for like a major airline. All we had to do was pay the taxes on the flight, and we could fly anywhere we wanted. I never did it because I was fearful of the unknown. Keep in mind, I missed out on opportunities when it came for me modeling because I was afraid to get on a plane. Didn't want to go to California. Didn't want to go to New York. Had to be in driving distance, right? It's that fear. So I really admire the fact that with Keith not having his eyesight,
I know.
uh, taking a chance and not making an excuse for not participating and going to see his mom. He could have used that as an excuse, but he didn't let that get in the way. The same way that he doesn't let fear get in the way when he's walking. Yeah. The same way that when he walks to the gym from his house and back 2 or 3 miles away, he doesn't let fear get in the way, right? He's overcome that. One thing I can say, and I was writing this down, I was like, sometimes we're fearful of things that we have never even experienced or even had a taste of.
Yeah.
Give you a case in point, sometimes my wife is good at this, try this food. Nah, I don't like it. Have you ever tasted it? Nope. Just, no, I'm not going to like it. Right. So sometimes our vision gets in the way and prevents us from doing things. And again, this comes back full circle to where Keith has lost the majority of his eyesight, but he's not letting that vision, the lack of vision, keep him fearful of experiencing life. Right. Do I wish my mom would have taken me on airplane rides and this and that? Yeah, I do. But again, there's only so much I can only use it as an excuse because when I get to the age where I can start making those decisions for myself, I can overcome that. I had to be very transparent with my kids after a certain point because I never let them know I was afraid to fly because I didn't want to pass that fear on to them. Right. Sometimes people are fearful just when the experience of others and
Yep.
what they've done or what they haven't done. Right. So again, I had to be very mindful and not be as transparent as I would have liked to be and say, oh yeah, I'm afraid to fly. Because what does that do? That passes it on to whoever we're around. Right. So it's as I'm married, I've traveled more in my life in the last 5 years than I have my whole life. And the fear factor is, let me tell you this little quick story. A good friend of mine, my ex-wife, and again, she did this without me knowing. I think I was about 35. A good friend of mine named Daryl Anderson. He flew down from Houston to make sure on my first flight that I didn't have to fly by myself. right? So my wife had a scavenger hunt. She had a map. She laid it out. My ex-wife had a map. It was like, go here, go to this place at such and such a time, go here. Because had she told me from the beginning that I was going to be flying, I would have, nope, don't want to go, don't want to do it. So everything was a buildup of go to Cheddar's, go here. And I saw Daryl at Cheddar's, and Daryl, I didn't even know that she had packed a bag for me for like a couple of days. Like, this is how strategic she had to be to get me out of that fear, right?
Wow.
So for me, it was just one of those things of being able to experience that. My friend took me to the airport. Thank God it was Houston, right? It was a quick 45-minute flight, right? So the fear was kind of quick, right? But let me tell you what kind of friend he is. On top of that, flying back to Dallas, he flew back with me and then flew back by himself. So he made 4 flights just to make sure that I was comfortable to where I can get over that fear, right? And sometimes that's what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, friends, brothers, sisters, I think about, I always try to unravel things and I try to figure out where did this all started from? Where did we get this notion to be fearful? And so I did a little digging and I found out that fear became prominent in America in the early 1900s. And what happened is that they use fear as a shame, as a success shame. In other words, if someone didn't make it financially, they were shamed as you being a failure. And that started in the 1900s. So fear became an antidote from shame. And the more people became shame of not being successful, not working hard and pulling themselves up, it grew anxiety. They began to have anxiety, and from anxiety led to fear. And we're dealing with that same situation from the 1900s to today. It's the anxiety. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail? These questions of what if. The first of all of this stuff, and Vincent, you touched on it. This the way that we think is, believe it or not, friends, is passed on. So this notion got passed on to a whole society in America from the early 1900th century. And the what if terminology came out of that. So when you start dealing with the what if it doesn't work? What if I fail? And the what if, unfortunately, for so many of us, always fall fletch on the side of the what if and the failure. Seldom do people look at the flip side. What if it works? What if I succeed? What if I pass? But we can't, well, we can, but seldom do we move from the what if of failure because the failure seems to be have a bigger grip on us for whatever reason. Bad seem to have a bigger grip on us than good. And friends, we're happy y'all tuned in to us tonight. If this is your first time, this is the world premiere Word on the Streets, and we're talking about fear. And you might add fear of failure, fear of whatever. And you may be dealing with fear right now in your life. Fear about that new career, fear about that relationship, fear about your new job, fear about purchasing that home, that car. You may be dealing with fear right now. Make no mistake, you're at the right place. So, Fletcher, while we on this subject talking about fear, here's something I noticed you do very well, and I don't know if it's just part of your DNA. But I noticed from having this constant dialogue with you that when so many people are focusing on the what if, on the negative, you have a unique way of always focusing on entertaining the darkness and making good from from the darkness. Talk to us, brother.
You know, so now I tell this story before, man. With me, with fear, my mom had. We did a show called The Wiz. The Wiz Owl, but the black version. And my mama made this lion suit for me. Man, she made it. And I remember she sit up there and made it, and I put it on and stuff. And we used to practice at home. My mom said, "Boy, you gonna kill this. You gonna this is made just for you, Keith. The curtain line." So, man, I get to the thing. I'm gonna practice. I get there and stop. I couldn't move. I couldn't move to save my life. And when it, people were sitting, they started singing the song, and I just couldn't do it. When it was over, I looked at my mama's face, and I was so disappointed. I was just so disappointed in myself. I was so disappointed, and I told myself right that day I would never, ever let nothing, nobody, stop me for doing nothing. I talked to my mom about that. I said, "Mom, that could have opened up so much for me, man. I don't know. I could have been an actor. I could have been, all these things, and I let that stop me because it was perfect. I practiced, and I just couldn't move. After that day, I wasn't gonna let nothing stop me. So, man, I always look at the good. Like even when I joined the army, like Ben said, I remember I never been on a flight, and I had to fly to Oklahoma. Man, I had my Bible. I was reading verses. I was praying to God. I was so scared. I was sweating all over my arms. I was scared to death, man. I ain't never been on the plane
You
before.
became born again, huh?
Right there on the plane. You know what I'm saying? But when I got on that plane, man, and then after that I got on so many planes, but I just kept pushing myself, man. I remember I jumped out of the plane. I remember I did air assault, and I started doing these things, man. That high diving board. I just started not letting fear stop me. I say it is what it is. So after that what got me. My grandfather, he used to say this thing. I quote him today. He said, "Boy, you got two good eyes. I got none, and I run circles around with you." And that was it for me, man. Those two things right there happened to me. My grandfather saying that and that. So man, I just look at the good, man. What I know what was the bad, but like man, what it can be. Like saying, if I'd have wore that suit, what could have happened? If I'd have would have knocked that show out, who I could have been. I look at that. I could have changed my whole existence of life by doing that show. And it's that simple. It's that we take things and say, nah, it ain't that big. Yeah, it's that important because that one little thing that you scared of could be the answer to you all the questions you've been asked. It could be the answer to all the places you want to go. So that's what I say, man, with me with fear, man. I can't let it overcome me. Then I got my kids watching me, man. They watching me. So how I can tell them what they can't do, what you scared of, and I'm up there doing it. So those are factors with me, man, with fear. So I just try to be intentional, man, and take whatever comes. I truly believe whatever bad, good gonna come out of it. You know what I'm saying? Something gonna come out, even when I feel something good gotta come out of it. And I'm looking for the good. So, and it always worked out for me, man, even when I didn't know it. So that's what me.
Good on, Vincent.
No, I like what Keith said, but I also like what Ace Man said.
Yeah,
He said, let's talk about how parents will use fears as a tactic to control and hold back their kids.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
We,
yeah.
that that's an applause right there. Like that's one of those things where it's like, man, I think about what he said and what he mentioned in the chat, and it's like, if you're a child of the 70s or 80s, right, you're our parents would talk without thinking. The vast majority of them, right? It was do as I say. Like it's
I think
different
that's
today, right? Like today, I literally over time I've learned to listen to my kids. I think my ex-wife told me, she says, "Are you talking to them or are you talking at them?" Right? As a parent, I want my kid to be fearful of the consequences. And but the one thing I used to want them to be fearful of me, but it's like, man, it's I have to be very understanding of I don't want that fear to go on into the adulthood to where they're afraid to talk to me and tell me stuff because I've conditioned them with that fear, right? It says in the Bible, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. Do I fear the consequences of life from the Most High whenever things go wrong? Yes, right. I'll be honest with you. There is a flip side to fear. Sometimes there is a good fear that has kept me from making the wrong decisions, right? That I have to acknowledge that for myself, right? I had buddies in certain areas that I actually grew up with. I keep my head on the swivel, right? I was fearful of the areas. And it's like, so again, you have to recognize where you're at, your audience. Fear can be used to your advantage, but then I also would like to say some people profit off of fear, right? Like if you look at the media today, like it's a head turner, right? Like it's fear. It's the news is sometimes doom and gloom. Like it's just sometimes I don't want to watch the news because it's filled with so much stuff. But going back to what Ace Man said, my mom did the best that she could, right? So again, as a single mom, she had to wear the shoes of the man and the woman in order for parenting, right? So there was a fear factor, right? So the one person I was afraid of in my life or fearful of was my mom. My mom was my birth control. My mom was my don't call me if you go to jail. Like it was all those things are fearful of. Some people are fearful because we don't want to disappoint some
Yeah,
people, right? So
Hands
I
up
think
for Murphy. Hands
that's
up
that's
that's
for
it.
Murphy.
That's
Hands
it
up
right
for
there.
yeah,
Murphy.
That's it right there.
yeah. We don't want to disappoint someone, so it's like there's that fear factor, right? But then the flip side of, like you said earlier, extraordinaire. So many people focus on what if it doesn't work? What if this doesn't go right? What if it does work? I've always been told. I've always told my folks that I've coached or either mentored. It's like it's only two things that's going to happen. Don't be afraid. Either they're going to say yes or else they're going to say no, right? But don't do the guesswork for me. Like I tell my kids, you're already in my head and you're planning out what I'm going to say. Don't do that. Let me be the one and just tell you if yes or no, or either shoot it down, right? When you're trying out for like a sport, I've always said, don't make the coach's job easier. Give me a reason to pull you off the field or either put you on the field, right? Fear has really just been like a stronghold for so many people, and it can strangle the life out of you, right? It can strangle your visions, it can strangle your dreams, and it's just like something that just you have to overcome it little by little, or as my youngest would say, slowly by slowly by slowly. So, but Ace Man, that was a great call out as far as about how parents would use fear as tactics. I'd like to hear something else from the audience. Is can you go a little deeper in that and say, what do you mean by that? Like, give me an example, Ace Man, as far as when someone says the parents may use it to
Yeah, yeah.
to control and hold back their kids.
Calling on the audience. And while you all at it, Fletcher or Vincent, any one of y'all could just, what's the first step to break fear? If you want to break fear, what would you all consider some of the first step or the first thing one may need to do?
I would say do what you're fearful of. Like do what you're like I'm fearful of snakes, right? One day I'll go and I'll touch a snake, but not today, right? You have to put yourself in a position to practice to overcome those fears. But if you're looking from afar and you're not going to take that chance, for me, what's worked for me is say like that plane ride, right? I didn't take a 4 or 5 hour plane ride. It was a 45-minute plane ride to Houston, right? Now, yes, it was my ex-wife that set it up and everything, but sometimes you can't eat an elephant all at once. You got to eat it off little, one chunk at a time. Keith?
Well, I would say about I don't call it fear. I just respect wherever whatever I'm in. I'm a show of respect whatever I'm dealing with. I don't think I'd be fearful of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna give it respect. And I'm saying like I tell people now they'll be like, man, you going you doing this, you walking the gym, you going here, you doing that. I said, man, I'm not jumping in a bed of alligators. I'm not swimming with no sharks. So yeah, these ain't no crazy things that I'm doing. So you know what I'm saying? But even people go in there and swim with sharks, but they get I wouldn't do it, you know what I'm saying? But they do it, you know what I'm saying? So any way you do it, respect it the way, protect yourself. But I'll try everything once me. That's me. I'm different than other people. I just don't want to miss out on nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna respect whatever I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But I wanna be safe with it. I want to find out the in and out of it, in and outs. But it ain't because of fear. It might be too dangerous. But I just won't use the word fear. But my mom used fear tactics on us. But I was that type. I had to go. You know, they told me don't go across town. I was going across town. They tell me don't do this. I was going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why I had that in me like that. You know what I'm saying? You gonna go to jail? I went to jail. You know, it was just, you know what I'm saying. I didn't have that fear of things like that. You know, so I don't know why. You know, some of my friends say, "Man, I think you reincarnated from the Warriors or something." I'm like, "Hey, I'm just being me. I don't know why that, but I don't know. I'm not scared of snakes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not scared of, animals. So I don't know. Fear just it just ain't hit me with certain things. Like flying right now, like I might have anxiety, but I'm gonna make if I'm like Vince said, if it make me feel like that, I gotta go do it. Like what I said, that's when I jumped out of in the military. I went airborne air assault because somebody told me that I couldn't do it, and I was like, man, what? And my air assault when I came out the helicopter on the rope, the guy told me that he failed it 2 times, and I said, man, I passed that my first time, and he signed me up, and I went and did it. So all the things was done like that. So I don't know me, not bragging, but I just think you need to walk into it. Like you said, go walk into it, but be safe with it. But walk, you got to walk into it, man.
And the thing is, Fletcher, sometime in life we over examine things. And the
Yeah.
more we over examine it, the bigger it gets and the bigger the fear become. And we guess what? We end up not doing anything because
Yep.
by the time we allow that time we examine something over and over again, you end up psyching yourself out. Friends, we're talking.
Extraordinary. It's funny you say that because my wife, because I'm like a critical thinker, but sometimes I overanalyze stuff. So my wife bought me a
Mhm.
shirt and it says, "Wait a minute, while I overthink this." But it's true, right?
Yeah, right.
We
It's
will run
true.
it over and over and over and
Over.
over in our head. We'll run the failure part, but oftentimes, sometimes we don't run it over and over and over in our head of us overcoming that or getting through that obstacle, right? Like it's crazy. Like I said a long time ago, and I still say this, sometimes we're our own worst enemy. And as Keith is so prominent on saying, you got to get your mind right, right? Fear starts in the mind, right?
It's in the mind. Yep.
It kind of works
Yeah,
hand in hand with the heart and the mind, right? Because
right,
that's when the anxiety starts to kick in. But
right.
fear starts in the mind. I like what Mark said as far as when he said face the fear head on. When
Yes,
me and X
yes.
Man gave an
I
example,
got
and
that
he
written
says,
down.
Granny held mama back with fear, so mama does it to the kids.
That's
Fear
right.
can be a generational curse sometimes.
Right, right. Man, I'm
That's
so
so
glad you
true.
read that. I have that written down. I was getting ready to say that, and you said it for me a
God, sorry
moment.
about that.
No, that's very well, man. Face fear head on, generational curse. Hey, friends, if this is your first time tuning in to our show, we call it the world premiere word on the streets, and we welcome you all to come back and be with us. But friend, we're not over, and we're not going anywhere. But we will take a small commercial break. So if you want to refresh in your drink, get you some more iced tea or some iced coffee or hot coffee. Go and do that now. But please do come back with the amazing Keith Fletcher, Vincent Craig, and yours truly, extraordinaire.
All right, family. Now it's time to go deeper. This is the moment where we peel back the layers, challenge old thinking, and get real about what's truly holding us back and what can finally push us forward. So grab your journals, lean in, and don't just listen, engage. And if something resonates with you tonight, do us a favor, subscribe, like, and share this message with someone who needs it. Because the conversation we're having is bigger than us. This is the world premiere word on the streets.
You know, I've heard a lot of experts say that fear isn't real. That is such a bunch of baloney. Fear is so real. In fact, There are probably things that you're afraid of doing right now in your life, in your relationships, at work. And the fact that you're afraid, that's robbing you of all of the experiences that you want to have in your life. I mean, if you're afraid to fly, that's going to limit your ability to travel and see the world or go visit friends. If you're afraid of public speaking, that's going to really limit your ability to express yourself and share your ideas. If you're afraid of talking to your boss or asking for a raise, that directly impacts how much money you make. Or what if you are dreaming of starting a business, or you've already started a new business, but you're afraid to talk to people and you're afraid to share your business with people? I mean, fear is something that stops us all. And that's why I'm here to talk to you, because it doesn't have to. Fear is real, but I am going to share a secret weapon that I have used for years. So first things first, if you've got to do something that really makes you nervous or that you're afraid to do, before you're about to do it, come up with an anchor thought. What's an anchor thought? Well, an anchor thought is something that's going to anchor you so that you don't escalate any situation into a full-blown panic attack or into a situation where you screw things up. It's a way for you to anchor yourself so you maintain control over what you're thinking and how you behave. So here's an example with flying. It's important when you're creating an anchor thought to pick something that is in the proper context of what you're afraid to do. So for flying, pick an anchor thought that has to do with the trip that you're taking. So if I'm boarding a plane to fly back home to Michigan, an anchor thought might be a picture in my mind of my mom and I walking on the shores of Lake Michigan where I grew up. That's a thought that makes me happy, it makes me excited, and it's also related to the trip that I'm taking. If you have a conversation that you need to have with your boss, pick an anchor thought about how you feel after having that conversation. Maybe it's you picking up the phone and calling somebody that you love and saying, "Oh my gosh, it went so well." Or, you walking out of the meeting and feeling like, yeah, I survived that conversation. I feel pretty good about myself. So now that you have your anchor thought, you're ready to beat the fear. How you're going to do it is this. So let's go back to the example of the plane. I'm on the plane, I'm flying to Michigan. We hit turbulence. So when I'm on a plane and the turbulence hits, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's step one, and it's essential. And the reason why using the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, is essential is because that is how you switch the gears in your mind, you awaken your prefrontal cortex, and you trigger your brain that you're now in control of your thoughts. You've interrupted the fear. You've settled your thoughts, and now your brain is ready for that anchor thought. So then what I do after I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is I insert the anchor thought that I've already come up with before the flight. I start thinking about walking on the beach and being with my mom and my dad. And I start telling myself, I'm so excited to walk on the shores of Lake Michigan. I'm so excited to see my parents. Now something remarkable is going to happen in your brain. Because you've interrupted the fear, and because you've used the 5-second rule to assert control and awaken your prefrontal cortex, and because you have an image that contextually makes sense to your brain because you're flying to Michigan, you know what your brain does? Your brain goes, Nell's excited to go to Michigan. Because my body is in a state, remember the first fact? Fear and excitement, exact same thing. What's the difference between fear and excitement? What your brain is saying. Using the 5-second rule and an anchor thought, you can actually switch the gears in your mind and reframe the thoughts of fear into thoughts of excitement. And because you have a vision that makes sense based on what you're doing, your brain buys it. You just tricked your brain.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue with part 2 of our discussion, when fear shapes your reality and how to break free.
Yes, we certainly hope you all enjoyed that from Mayor Robbins. I thought it was very interesting. And there you go, Fletcher. The thing is, friends, this thing we're talking about, fear, it's pretty huge. We could create a show and talk about fear procrastination, and toxic relationship 24/7. Those three major topics, and if I wanted to, we can add, if we wanted to, we can add in exercise or weight, WEIGHT. Those four headlines, I think people are interested in. But you mix it all up, but fear is always that underlying common denominator of achieving everything, every walks in life. You want more money? Guess what at the bottom foundation? Fear. You want to get a better education, Vincent? What's at the bottom? Fear. You want to improve, you got to see therapy. What's at the bottom, Fletcher? Fear, what they shame, what they're gonna say about me. Everything in our life got this bottom core, which is why fear keep sticking this ugly head in every aspect of our life. And it's by time we take it head on. Now I don't have any reservation within me setting across from these two gentlemen, the amazing Keith Fletcher and the smooth, silky voice of Vincent Craig. But this world, see, in order to get to the level that they are on, they had to go through some stuff. I had to go through some stuff. You're going through some stuff, but you know, friends, Vincent, we don't want to go through the stuff. Facing fear is uncomfortable. And Fletcher, you say it all the time. We don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But let me get off my soapbox. But I'm glad I had an opportunity. Me being on here right now, friend, is me getting over fear. See, I have made coming on an opportunity for me. And I've shared with you all how much I love that word opportunity. Opportunity, that word is my anchor word. She talked to us just now, Mel Roberts, about having an anchor. My anchor is the word opportunity. Now, how is that extra? Because I get an opportunity to do it better than I did it the last time. See, I wasn't that good. I may not be that good this time. But come next Thursday, Vincent, I get a new opportunity. I get another chance to improve, to fix, to be better, to do better, in the words of Keith Fletcher. I get another opportunity. Facing your fear. Somebody take this ball from me and run it in the end zone.
Now it sounds like what you're doing is extraordinary. Is you're eating the elephant one bit at a time, right? One chunk at a time, because you can't
Go ahead on, boy. Go ahead
everything
on.
at once, right? Because you're like stuck on it. One thing I like is what Mel Robbins said, and I thought about it, and excuse this comparison. I'm by no means trying to compare humans to dogs, but I like how she said the anchor, right? What some may call the fear disruptor. If y'all have trained dogs, or if you've taken your dogs for a walk, dogs are treat enhanced, right? Like they want their treat. Sometimes to stop the anxiety, I have to get in front of my dog, or I have to trick my dog, or give them the treat and wave it in front of them so they can get through the anxiety, or get through and not focus on the other dog, or get them back, right? Like it's to catch their attention back. So I like how she said that, because I thought about my dogs when I'm training them, right? Or if there's another dog that and they're getting out of hand, I have to get the attention of my dog, right? There's something called the fear and greed index. I don't know if you all know about that from an investment standpoint.
Yeah. They got
Like I
that.
said earlier about how people profit off of fear, I can be honest with you. I'm one that profits off of fear, and anyone that does investments knows that when you're if you ever look at the stock market and the data and the charts, it's like a heart rate monitor, right? When things are going good, it's at a high, right? When things are going bad, it's at a low, right? So it ebbs and flows up and down according what the stock market trend is like a pulse and an assessment of how the world looks at money and stocks, right? A lot of people who have invested, they'll get out of something when the price, when they've invested and it drops, but what happens is that's another opportunity for people that are fearful that they're going to lose money. So they sell, so they salvage, and that they don't take a complete loss. But what happens a large majority of the time when people get fearful, they sell. And everyone comes in, the big money people or either whoever comes in, scoops up, and they buy all of that stock that everyone sold for the cheap rate, and then guess what? It skyrockets and it goes back up, right? So again, fear, people profit off of fear as well, right? So again, I know Keith has something to say. So Keith, let me let you say what you needed to say.
People,
No,
people
like you
profit
said,
off.
can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
go
Yeah,
right
like
ahead.
you said about the fear, man. And I go over this every time. I just buy in on things, man. The truth. You know what I'm saying? I buy on a lack and abundance travel together. You have a choice in these things. I buy in that I want the journey. I'm not looking at the failure to failure. I'm looking at the journey. I'm really looking at I know what if something bad, but what if this work out? You know what I'm saying? And then if it doesn't work out, it's the journey. What that's gonna take me to. You know what I'm saying? Even when you fail in something, it take you somewhere else. It make you become somebody else, you know. In the military, man, we were not taught you run through it. You know what I'm saying? You run through it. When the military, when you they teach you like warfare, and you got your gun, you and then you see the police training, the team they moving forward. You see what I'm saying? They moving forward. They shooting, they moving forward. Then the other one go. You shooting, moving forward. So that's how it is life. Move forward, man. Things gonna happen. Things gonna get in your way. But I just say you just gotta move forward. When I took on that some years ago, man, it changed my life. I'm not missing, like Extraordinary said, opportunity. I'm not missing no opportunity, not because of me. Now, the weather might change, storms might come, all these things might happen, but I'm not missing it because of me. I'm not letting me stop me from winning it. You know what I'm saying? And what's for me, if I believe, again, something that I believe what's for me is for me. So no matter what I do, I'm gonna walk into it. If it's for me, it's gonna work out for me. If it ain't for me, it's not for me. It's not meant to be. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I believe, and I truly believe those things, man. And I walk into them and lead those principles that I stand by. Before I had no principles, I had no goals. But what's for me is for me, and I walk into it, man. So I think you should just walk into it, and you trust in the Most High, not trusting in man, trusting in Him, trusting that ability, trusting that Him lead you. I think you'll be okay. It works for me.
Hey, gentlemen, I want to throw this on the table, and I need you all to bring it home, bring it all the way home to our community out there. If fear is preventing you from doing something right now in your life, right now in this moment, and right now it may be you and that thing or whatever it might be. I found that sometimes if I got me extra out of the way and start focusing on why I need to do it, start focusing on my why I need to go through with it, why I really need to do this. Sometimes my why will remove me. The fear of doing it is still there, but sometimes the why will make me do things I otherwise may not do. So what I'm saying, friends, and these brothers, I have no doubt they're gonna be able to put much more meat on that bone than I'm doing right now. Any one of y'all take it from there.
Man, you're putting a lot of pressure on us today.
Yeah, he is.
No, not for you all.
No, it's. Someone once told me, they said when it comes to fear, it was like if I did the opposite of what I really wanted to do, I'd make the right choice every time, right? So it's in thinking about that, man. But it's like I sit up here and I think about when you ask that question, like we all like it or not, are dealing with some type of fear, right?
That's
And I
right.
think what helps us is community, right? Being around individuals that have overcome those things, right? Because you can't give what you don't have, right? So you got to get around some people that have been exposed to certain things that you have. And again, sometimes like he said, sometimes, like who was it, Mark said, sometimes you just got to face the fear head on and just go on with it. And just like, the why is, why do I need to go ahead and accomplish this? Why should I do this? Right? Again, that fear could be a prisoner, right? Like we put ourselves in bondage just because of that fear factor, right? The fear of the unknown. I think it's the unknown, really, in a lot of instances,
I
that
agree.
creates a lot of that fear, right? Because everyone wants to know the outlook of how it's going to turn out. We don't always know how it's going to turn out, but I know how it'll turn out if you don't take that chance, right? Let me repeat that. I know how it'll turn out if you don't take that chance. You missed a shot that you never take, right? So, Keith, I'm gonna let you have it.
Yeah.
Man, we got to watch the words we use, like can't, you know what I'm saying? I thought about, these things that you say to yourself, I should, you know what I'm saying? I, I was, you know what I'm saying? Those things like that, I try to not use those things. I try to be really intentional about it. Like I said, it's a daily process. But the word fear, like I said, no, don't get it wrong. We all got fear. Like you said, there's nothing wrong with having fear. But when it start controlling you,
Mm.
when it start having you stuck, you know what I'm saying? When that failure, you know what I'm saying? Failure or failure, that's two together, feeling of failure. And you, like you said, you make an assumption where if I do this, go on the path that you did, make the wrong mistakes. You did make the wrong decisions. Now you fearful to make a decision. You got to walk through it. You got to bet on yourself. You got to bet on yourself and walk through it and deal with the consequence. Everybody got to deal with the consequence. Even the wrong choice can be right, man. Things you can turn a wrong choice right. You can turn a failure to being right, but you got to stay with it and work with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you got to believe. Just because you fail don't mean it's over. Just because you made a mistake doesn't mean it's over. You know what I'm saying? That's what when I tell people like, well, what if this happen? What it haven't happened? But what if it doesn't happen? What if this the other part happens? You know what I'm saying? That's 50-50. I can deal with 50-50. You know what I'm saying? I can deal with taking that chance, on myself. Then I see what can I handle? Can I handle the consequences with it? Most likely I'm gonna choose myself always. I'm gonna choose I bet on myself always because I gotta deal with the consequences. I gotta deal with what happens and stuff. I'm not hurting nobody else. I'm not dealing with nobody else, so I can take on that blow for me. I tell my wife that all the time. I say, we talk about, when things is happening. She said, well, you don't listen to me. We talk about something, then you make the decision. I said, baby, if I make the decision, I can deal with me making the fact. I can deal with that and have a plan. But when you did, I'm gonna tear myself up even more. I knew I should have did. I should have took. So I want to take on. I listened to what you said, but I got to take on that for me. Because if I make that, listen to you, it's gonna be even more devastating to me. So that's what it's got to be.
Hey, hey, brothers. Let me share with y'all another twist about fear that we have to own up to as being a parent is I don't know about you guys, but taking a shot. Uh, I didn't enjoy taking shots when I had to see a doctor. I don't know about y'all. I hated taking a shot. I just didn't like that pinch, didn't like the pain at all. But when you have kids, that's one of the things you have to man up and take as though because you realize they are watching.
They watch.
They are watching how you gonna handle that because you're gonna have to be the one telling them and encouraging them. It ain't gonna hurt. Only gonna take a few minutes or whatever. But if you in there negotiating with the doctor, just I'm listen. I'm telling y'all, just write me a prescription. I don't know, brother. Y'all want to expound on that a little bit?
Well, I'm looking at the comment that Mark made, and then I was sorry to get off track here, but I was laughing at what he said. He was like, "Talk about fear, fear, fear will help you grow as a person if you face it head on. Once you climb the hurdle, it feels so good. Like it's the rewarding part of getting through what you were what you were afraid of, or either
Get
what's been
old.
keeping you in bondage. Like there is, on the other side of failure, there's success, right? On the other side of that fear, there's overcoming, right? So I like to use the word very intentional and say overcoming that fear. And as Keith said, you have to be very intentional on that. Uh, I remember when I went to the dentist office. Hey,
Mhm.
going to the dentist, right?
Yeah, right.
Fearful of going to the dentist, right? And I had my two sons, they were in the lobby and they joke with me to this day. And we'll be at dinner and they'll say, "Hey, do you remember that time whenever you heard dad going, ow, 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 ow?" So it's that fear. I may have passed down the fear to them, but at the point in time, it was a joke, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
But
yeah.
we all like you said, we all have fear. Like when I had my first surgery, man, my wife laughed at me. I had all my family around me. I was going to get my kidney removed, and I was I never had surgery before. Now I was scared of that, and they were talking to me. And they were about to push me out to the take me out, and I'm leaving my family. And I told my wife, I said, did they put me to sleep? Because I don't remember and after that. My wife said, I think you fainted, kid. I said, what? Told her, I think you passed out. I was terrified of not waking up. I was really scared of not waking up and thinking that I wasn't going to wake up. So I was terrified of that going into that surgery, that first surgery, man, to overcome that. And, that I think the thing was fear with me that I had no control. I'm big on having control of me and all that. So when I didn't have any control of the situation, that had to humble me too. That was a humbling experience for me going through this surgery, cancer surgery, because I had to depend on somebody else to get me through, and I couldn't do anything. I wasn't aware, you know what I'm saying? So that was big for me, not having any control over. So that was a fear for me of not having control.
hey, if I can piggyback on that when we're talking about the health, I think a large majority of men in general have a fear of going to the doctor, right?
Yeah,
Especially when you get that certain age where you get 40, 50, you got to go get that colon check. You got to
Yeah,
get a colonoscopy. Like,
yeah,
like it's funny. Like we laugh at it now, right? And it's,
yeah.
we'll do jokes about it and stuff, but it's
it
like, it's that fear. If it's not checked, you getting over that fear and going to the doctor could be life saving because you can get in front of something sooner than later, right?
like you said, you don't want to hear that bad news, man.
Don't want to hear that bad news.
I heard when I heard that news, man. Like I said, it take the wind out. You don't want to hear that bad news. So now your anxiety and all that setting up when you're going.
That's
Yeah,
that's right. That's true. That's
because
real talk.
you know
You
you
don't
ain't
want to
did
hear
right.
bad
You ain't
news.
probably been doing right with yourself.
Yeah. There's something called the white coat syndrome. I don't know if
Yeah,
y'all have ever heard it, to
I
where
heard
when
that.
you first
Yeah,
go into the doctor to get your blood pressure checked,
it be high.
people are excited, right? Their blood pressure rate is showing high, So a lot of times, oftentimes, you have to ask the doctor because of the fear
Mhm.
that has been built up. Hey, can you check my blood pressure in another 15 to 20 minutes after everything settles in and goes down, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, they check your blood pressure at the dentist because that's exactly why they try to calm you down before they start. They'll
Yeah.
check your blood pressure before they start working with you at the dentist because of that too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and and
See
and
this.
and I'll piggyback and I'll say this to the audience and for those that may chime in later: do not let fear put you in a situation where if you feel something where you're in tune with your body, please get over that fear and don't be afraid and don't hesitate in going to the doctor because guess what? You might catch something sooner than later, or you may hear some good results and just say, you know what? You're going to find like everything's good, right? But don't leave it to chance when it comes to your health because of the state of fear.
Real talk.
And that is precisely why we start driving down the street, friends, because we don't want anyone out there to think that we can face and have faced anything and fear of not touch us. We're human just like you all, friends. And we all have at some point in time in our life a certain situation where fear is right there. And the both of them said it so perfectly said. You see, when we're not in control, some things when we're in control, for the most part, the way that we're built, we're ready to take the consequence. Isn't that right, Fletcher? We ready to. I can deal with the bed I made. I could sleep in it. It's gonna be hell or high water, but I made this bed. I could sleep in it. But it's when things are out of our hand.
Yeah.
That's that's that fear that when you go to the doctor, see that your health, what he may say, what she may say, that is out of your control. That unknown, that's some real fear.
Yeah.
Coming back in there and say, Mr. Moton, Mr. Fletcher, Mr. Craig, when you hear, you notice every tone, every detail. That's when fear steps in. So we know where you at, audience. We're not oblivious to the fact that fear can be debilitating. We're not above that. We understand that. But we also understand the fact that there are areas in our lives that we allow in fear to have such a foothold that we can do better. Where there are areas in our life where we are allowing fear to stop us from progression, stop us from moving forward. You know you need that extra 10,000, and all you have to do is go take that class for 3 months. But fear won't let you.
Sometimes we get fearful of what others may think, right? If we try something
Ooh.
and it doesn't work out, we're afraid of the feedback of what people, oh, I see, I told you you weren't going to do that, right? It's that negativity whispering in your ear, right? That keeps,
Mm-hmm.
because we're so afraid to either disappoint someone, or the other side of that is we're afraid of what people may say if it
Yeah,
doesn't work out.
we hear that chatter in the background.
Yep, yep, yep.
What say you, Fletcher?
Yeah, but nah, I mean, like I said, what Vince was saying, we worry about others, man. I like you get so wrapped up in that, man, and you realize, like I said, once you get past it, they they ain't never tried nothing themselves, man. So it just just realize, like, man, just push forward, man. Just don't let fear kill your dreams. That's the whole thing. Don't let fear kill your dreams, man, and failure kill your dreams. It's a part of life, but I'm telling you, even when those things come and you make mistakes, don't let it stall you. It's okay. Get through it. Use it. That's what I did, man. I had to use it for that, man. Use it and go keep fighting for it. Keep fighting through it, man. That's what I would say, Shorty. If anybody tell anybody, man, I understand you feel. I understand. I be saying I understand, but if that you gonna let that stop you from your dreams, you're gonna let that stop you from your goals. You're gonna let that stop your kids are watching you. You're gonna let that stop them because, like I say, they would take on that same attitude, listening to you, hearing you. You know, like Vince said, my mom. The reason we flew down there because her husband he's scared to fly. He 80 some years old, never been on a plane, and he said he ain't about to get on one now. You know what I'm saying? 80 something, and he said he ain't about to get on one now. So
Sometimes, Keith, we let the experience of others dictate and shape ours.
yeah, yeah.
Boy. Y'all
But
say
imagine in them 82 years what he missed. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, imagine what all that he done missed. Just not getting on one flight. That one flight could have changed his whole attitude, his whole life, his whole direction, whole opportunities. It could have changed so much, and we take it for granted. Think, oh no, no, that one thing stopped a lot of opportunities for him. Like Vince said, so many opportunities missed because of that one decision, that man.
And Keith, let me piggyback on, man. I'm glad you said that. You say he's 87, right? And it took me to
82, 82, yeah, 82.
82, right? And it took me uh, till I turned 35 to get on my first flight. And again, and I know you've witnessed the last 5 years, 4 years that I've been married to my wife now. I've done more traveling than I have my whole life. And all I can sit back and say is one of the things, man, I used to be very embarrassed about was I couldn't partake in certain conversations. when it came to traveling and people talking about what they've experienced as far as going here and going there and going here and going there. And I sit back and I'm like, now I'm a seasoned veteran, right? And it's like I can have those conversations. Well, I've been here, I've been here, and I've been there, and I've been here. And it's just like, man, I once told someone, I said, I want to live before I die.
Yeah.
And I repeat that. I said, I want to live before I die. And I've been able to experience a lot more in life because I have stepped out of fear. Am I still fearful of flying at time? Yeah, I am. I'll be honest with you. But it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, my oldest says, something can happen to me and I can step out of my house. Right.
Yep.
So it's like, that's that who is it? Mel Robinson saying, that's that anchor, right?
Hmm.
It's I have to change my mindset and understand my life really doesn't belong to me anyway. But what I'm not going to do is sit up here and not experience life, right? And again, to each their own, right? But I know for me, in order for me to get to the places that I've dreamt about, I have to get on a plane. I have to do certain things. I have to take that chance. I have to buy this stock. I have to participate in this in order to overcome. There is no growth in comfort, right? And I'll say that again. There is no growth in comfort, but I got to be able to say, if I want to experience these things, I have to step out of my comfort zone, and not only that, my fear zone that I have created for myself, because sometimes I've let the experience of other people shape my fear and create my fear for me, when it's like that's been their fear. That's not going to
Hmm.
be fear.
Yeah, yeah,
I
right.
like what he said,
I
man.
like that too. Because that's so
Got it.
true.
Got
That's what
it.
we do. Go ahead on,
Huh?
go ahead on.
I what I say, like say and again, you gotta get your mind right. You gotta buy that stock. You gotta do these things for you. You gotta take a chance for yourself, man. And that's how I live, man. I got to. I ain't no I want to. I'm thinking about it. I got to do it, man. And like I say that was that phrase, I gotta get my mind right. I gotta do it. Got to.
That's so what you're saying. That's non-negotiable. If I'm hearing you right.
Non-negotiable. I got to.
And friends, this we enjoyed this conversation tonight. If y'all enjoyed this conversation as well, friends, show us
Please,
some love.
please hit the like button. Hit the like button.
Right there, you go. There you got
There
it,
you go,
brother.
man.
You
There you
please
go.
will show us some love by hitting the like and
Please
subscribe.
Smash
hit the
it,
like button.
slap it, back rub and hit
The
it.
like button. Hit that thumb. Hit the like up,
Give
not the
us some
thumbs down.
love. Give us some love. Boy, you gotta love it. Look, we've had a lively response in our chat room tonight. Let's give it up to Selena.
Yeah.
Let's give it up to Mark. I like to call him Marco.
Market. It's a market.
And let's give it up to Ace Man in the
Hey,
house.
What's
hey,
up, nice man?
yeah,
And Laviana, we didn't forget about you.
Hey,
Tatiana.
la, la. Hey, la, la.
Friends, we love you all so much. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. These two wonderful gentlemen, man, they're gonna end the show, take us out. I'm I'm fortunate to be on the platform with these two gentlemen, and I love them.
For me, I would say I'm glad that we have a podium to speak about this, right? And again, this is something that we could, pass on to our friends, because I know I've invited some people that couldn't make the show, but we're making history by putting this stuff on the web, online for others, including myself, to go back to and use as like a reference point, right? So when people say, "Hey, what is it that you did?" There is no right or wrong answer, right? But the one thing that we can say is surround yourself around positive people. Step out of your comfort zone. Do what you don't like doing, right? If it makes you uncomfortable within the law, right? And again, share this with someone and use this as a refresher for yourself. And I say it again, hit that like button.
Yeah.
Keep this on you.
Yeah, man. I just want to say, man, I get on here. I just don't want anybody to make the mistakes that I made. If I can help someone to move out of the way that landmine, not to step on that landmine, I accomplished my goal. One person, man. I just want to help them because the mistakes I caught, yeah, I overcame them. I overcame them. But if like we talk about invest anybody in the past, what they can do, they did more, they gave more, and they started short. So I'm trying to catch people when they're young, especially young guys when they're young, trying to impress and put something inside of their head because when I had nothing in there, I was just blowing in the wind. I don't want nobody to blow like that. And it's real simple steps, man. These things that we talk about, we take them for granted. You know what I'm saying? We really do think it's like, oh, well, we'll say something and we'll blow it over just about this fear. Yeah, everybody got fear. But what have you overcame it? You know what I'm saying? What have you done the things you have to do to overcome? You know what I'm saying? Why? How? Let's talk. Let's just say, well, this is how I am. No, let's go deeper. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean it's right. So that's what we do here, man. We got to get you on this channel. Me, Vince, extraordinaire, and we come in and give our own concept of things and just help you. Imagine three others telling you something. I got stuff that can help you. He got stuff. Man, that's powerful. So that's what it's all about, doing our part. And when, like I said, when you look back at this, a year from now, 20 years from now, you can say we was doing our part. We was in the fight. You know what I'm saying? It's a $200 billion industry. It's gonna double, and we can say, man, we was a part of something, and we was a part of something doing it the right way. So that's what it's about for me.
Like that, like that. And,
Love it.
and extraordinary, if I can't say I'm just going back through like the chat. The one thing again, I'm touching back on when Ace Man said, let's talk about how parents will use fear as a tactic to control and hold back their kids. I would like to say this. Sometimes I've used examples to where, yes, I do want my kids to be fearful of things. I want them to be fearful of the consequences when
Yeah.
it comes to bad choices. Like that's the type of fear that I'm trying to instill, and say, hey, there is a consequence. You don't
Yes,
want to go down their road. So that's the fear that I'm trying to
that's
put
the
in there and
perfect.
give them some wisdom and some knowledge.
That's hey, and understanding that what
Yeah.
you're giving them, that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that it's consequences,
Yep.
and the consequences are heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
These some heavy consequences that can put a scar that won't heal. You see what I'm saying? Not that you won't make it through it, but it can put a scar on you that would affect you in your lifetime. So yeah, we want to put that fear of that in. Yes.
Yep.
Man, just friends, just step back and listen for a moment. This is some beautiful wisdom that we're sharing with you all. It's not just we're not just talking about our family, my son, my daughter, Fletcher's son, his daughter, Vincent's son. We're not just talking about our immediate family. We're talking to you. We don't want to see you fail. We don't want to see fear be your turn in the road, your fork in the road. And look, these brothers, you all can tell it's nothing fake about what they say and how they say what they say. When they speak like they're speaking, they mean every single solitary word of what they're saying. And so do I. So if y'all enjoy what we're saying, what we're putting out there, please subscribe, click like, and share us with a friend. Share it with your neighbor. Share us on the job. Share us on your social media platform. This is World Premiere Word on the Streets, and we can't wait to be back in your home every Thursday at 7:30 Central Standard Time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
And that wraps up another powerful episode of World Premiere Word on the Streets. We're live every Thursday evening at 7:30 Central Standard Time, and we'd love to have you join us again. So take a moment to subscribe, tap that like button, and become part of this growing community. Until next time, guard your thoughts, speak only what you truly want to experience, and stay laser focused on what matters. Your words shape your world, and your mindset fuels your mission. We'll see you again. Same time, same place. right here on World Premiere Word on the Streets, where truth meets transformation. Stay strong, stay grounded, and as always, stay true.